description to the text, and we'll probably post as well the highlights as an article on Loop Media with the video on YouTube embedded, and we'll be sharing that as well.
Mr. Dolkun Isa is here.
Great. Let's say hi to him. Hello, how's it going, Mr. Dolkun? Oh, I think the audio wasn't there.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. How's it going?
Hi, Santiago.
How's it going?
Good, thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Dolkun as well. As you can see here, we're also with the India Research for Peace team. Mr. Dolkun's we've been in contact with him for over a year now when we did the first interview. And yeah, so very excited to have you here again, and congratulations again for everything that you've been doing this past year, but especially for the nomination. Well,
thank you.
From everyone here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, so we were just setting up everything now, Abhijit, with so that everything can be streamed properly, and then we'll have some great stuff.
Once we have people joining in, once we have a couple of minutes in, we can then start.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's going to be pretty straightforward as well. Just a couple. Abhijit's going to be moderating the first part, introducing the conference, the speakers as well, and then we'll give it each one of you some time to talk about your recent nomination, and then we'll hop into the questions that we're going to be asking, which we got from some scholars as well. So we'll just wait a couple of minutes as well for Dr. Guinness, and we'll be on our way.
Yes, I think Dr. Guinness will join us shortly, and we can wait for a couple of minutes for him and the rest of the people to join us.
Great.
It's also a warm welcome to the people who are joining in and just getting to know about this seminar. This is a live interactive Q&A with Mr. Dolkun Isa, you can see in the frame. And we also have Dr. Guinness Palasami also joining us on it. This is not when we are starting the conference, we're waiting for a couple of minutes for people to join. And as people keep joining and there is good momentum and when it becomes really stable, then we can go ahead and signal the start of the conference. Whoever is joining in right now, I hope you have had a very nice day, a very nice evening, afternoon, morning. I don't know where you're watching from. Welcome to the conference, and we are very excited to actually conduct our first ever live event. So it's going to be quite great. And thank you for taking your time and joining us. We will be starting shortly. Thank you.
This is some noisy voice. I don't know from whom. Maybe someone don't speak. Maybe is okay. No, it's fine.
Yeah. I muted one. There was a little bit of disturbance, so I muted one person.
Okay, good.
And just so a little information as well, this event is also being live streamed on YouTube. So people that are on YouTube, hello, you can also ask questions. We will be also moderating the live chat as well, in the case that this conference becomes so successful that there are more than 100 participants, and there will be people on YouTube as well who can ask questions to Mr. Dolkun Isa or Dr. Gwinis Malasamy as well. Um, if you are still joining in, we are about 5 or 10 minutes away from the conference, and we will be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience. Okay, great.
Okay, so now that we have both the guests here, we just wait for a couple of minutes, for 2 more minutes, for the rest of people to join. Thereafter, we'll proceed with the webinar.
Yep, sounds good.
So it's glad to have you, Mr. Dolkun and Mr. Dr. Gwinis Madhuswamy. So we will be starting shortly in just 2 minutes. I really appreciate that you came with such a hectic day. So we'll be starting shortly.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello, Dr. Gwinis. How are you doing? This is the first
Hello?
time. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
I can hear you.
yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Tell me.
Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you. I know we're meeting for the first time, so thank you for taking out your time and attending this live Q&A. I would
Okay,
also like to take this opportunity to also introduce you to Mr. Dolkun Isa, who would be the other guest alongside you as well. And we are just waiting for a couple of minutes to start for people to start joining, but we will be beginning shortly, and we will then go about the conference. It's a really good pleasure to meet you, and thank you for taking out your time.
okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I
Hello?
can hear you. No problem. I can hear you completely clearly. No issues at all.
Can I start?
So, give me 1 second. I'll just be starting with some introduction about the
Okay,
webinar
okay.
and a little introduction about Loop Media and IRP as well. And then we can go ahead with the conference. Actually, this is a good time to start. People who are punctual are in for a treat because the conference is starting at 6:05 right now. And so, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to everyone joining around. I really thank you all for joining us, and I would like to welcome to Loop Media's first ever live event. We are doing this live event in association with India Research for Peace, or IRP, and the topic of the live event is how geopolitics can impact human rights. Currently, the international polity that we have today has been aptly described by a lot of people as an international polity in disarray, and we have seen that there is a wide correlation between human rights and geopolitics. Sadly, actually, the correlation is turns out to be violation of human rights and geopolitics in most scenarios. So it is unfortunate, but today we have two speakers who are the beacon of human rights in this world, which is becoming increasingly more and more polarized. I would like to also extend a warm welcome to IRP as well. This is the first collaboration that we're doing with IRP, and also coincidentally also the first live event that we are organizing. IRP is a student led think tank which, through its cutting edge policy analysis, is giving students a platform to actually influence some change in the world. And they are an up and coming organization. And judging by their tagline, which says "We serve humanity," they are an apt partner for this conference. When it comes to Loop Media, my name is Abhijit. I have my co-founder Santiago with me in the call as well. Loop Media is a platform that offers people the chance to write and also monetize their content. We have a web and an app, and apart from giving people, students, writers, editorials across the world tools to write, we also do conferences such as these. Even though this happens to be our first one, we also do events that are outside of our conventional realm. Without further ado, because this event is not actually about us, it's not about Loop Media, it's not about IRP, it's about Mr. Dolkun Isa and Dr. Gwyneth Marasamy. Before actually giving them the space to talk about their lives and the changes that they have affected in the whole world, I would actually like to take a couple of minutes to talk something about them as well. If I could start with you, Mr. Dolkun, you happen to be a long-time friend of Loop Media. It was very kind of you to give us space and time at a time when Loop Media wasn't that big. Loop Media had a limited readership back then, and your openness to giving us time and giving your thoughts actually told us the kind of person you are and the kind of personality that you have. So we are very privileged and honored that you could be here with us. Mr. Dolkun Isa, just a small introduction of himself. I mean, I think it would be better if it was in his own words, but he is the current president of the World Uyghur Congress. Actually, currently, if I could delve in a little bit of history, in the month of June, they celebrated the 35th anniversary of their pro-democracy protest that happened in 1998. And I would like to extend a formal congratulations to you. I know that we have spoken before on LinkedIn, but a formal congratulations to you and your organization from being nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. We hope you go ahead and win it. We hope that you go ahead and don the Medal of Honor that you very much deserve. Um, and if I could speak about Dr. Gwyneth Marasamy as well, we know that even though this is kind of like a spectrum, because Mr. Dolkun, we've had conversations before, but with you it's completely new. But we also hope that the kind of relationship that we have built with Mr. Dolkun over the past, it would be the same relationship that we would be able to build with you as well. If I could speak a couple of sentences about you as well, Dr. Gwyneth Marasamy is the founder and director of Human Rights Watch, and he's also a member of the International Peace Bureau as well, which actively works for nuclear disarmament. The list of achievements that was actually sent us by IRP about you, if I were to list them all, I think I would run out of the conference, to be very honest with you. So I'm going to keep it short and give you the chance to talk more about yourself as well. But just to start off the conference, I would actually give the stage now to Mr. Dolkun Isa, just to talk about a little bit about himself, his history, his organization, and the paths that he has taken. And now he is being vindicated by the nomination for Nobel Peace Prize, and we can do the same for Dr. Gwyneth as well. So, Mr. Dolkun, you have the floor with you, and you can go ahead and talk. I'm going to mute myself so you don't have any disturbance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your nice introduction, Mr. Abdelhijat. And I'm also so glad to be joining today, and I'm so glad, honored to meet Dr. Gunes via this way. We didn't have meet each other, but we heard each other maybe, but it is the first time we meet virtually. I hope we will meet in person soon. Because I'm really want to travel to India, but unfortunately still I have a travel ban to India because of the pressure of China. Unfortunately, I hope this problem will be solved soon. Yes, and I'm also thank you for hosting this event. And this is I think is second my joining by the Loop Media's interview or the event. Yeah. So World Uyghur Congress is the umbrella organization and international representative body for the Uyghurs and the other Turkic people in Turkestan. Yes, this is what World Uyghur Congress established 2004. next year is the 20 years anniversary. We are planning to and celebrate 20 years anniversary of the World Uyghur Congress. Now it's already 19 years. But before World Uyghur Congress established, there is a two umbrella organization in exile. One is East Turkestan National Congress. It was founded 1992. Another World Uyghur Youth Congress. It was founded 1996. I am one of the founding members, co-founder of the World Uyghur Youth Congress in 1996. Then two umbrella organization, a long discussion and the push of the Uyghur community in exile, all Uyghur organization. Then two umbrella organization merged together 2004, and we hold a jointly united conference in Munich. Then we call name is World Uyghur Congress. This is the history of the World Uyghur Congress. Yes, the World Uyghur Congress is on mission as promote the right of the Uyghur people, including human right and political right, and they use the peaceful, non-violent way and the democratic means of determining the political future of the East Turkestan people. It has been we need self-determination right according to the international law. Yeah, so we are as a representatives of Uyghur people and the Turkestan people in exile. We are being and the voice of the Uyghur people. They raise the issue to the United Nations and European Parliament, European institution, and some other international forum and the national parliament globally. Globally, we are a representative of cause and promote of cause. This is the reason, and the World Uyghur Congress was nominated Nobel Peace Prize 2023. The World Uyghur Congress nominated a Norwegian parliament member Anna Breivik, who's a leader of the young liberals, is a Norwegian, and also same time separately nominate other two parliament member from Canada, and the one is Sami Zubair, who is the current is a liberal representative, is the Liberal Party, and the chair of the Canadian Parliament Human Rights Committee. And the other is Alex Dupes, who is from a parliament member. He came from Montreal, Quebec. Yeah, so we are very happy. It was a big surprise for us, but it is a great honor for us. We will see in the October. We expected we will be choice for this, but anyway, we cannot get it. Maybe we not got this prize. Maybe Dr. Gunes got it. We are same happy, and yes. So either we got, either Gunes got it. It is the not big choice, but if we got, it is the we are much happy, of course. Yes. So as we said, the World Uyghur Congress as a representative organization, we are particularly since the last 6-7 years, we are rising the Uyghur genocide to the globally. As you know, at the moment, more than 3 million Uyghur, Kazakh, other Turkish-speaking people is a suffering concentration camp. Actually, Chinese government policy against Uyghur, Tibetan is the discrimination policy implemented all the time since occupation. This country we call East Turkestan, China calls Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. It's officially autonomous region, Tibet Autonomous Region, Uyghur Autonomous Region, but we have never seen real autonomy. This autonomy as a past is a Chinese government discrimination, assimilation policy towards Tibetan Uyghur was exist. But since Xi Jinping took the power, since 2014, 2013, this discrimination as assimilation policy into genocidal policy. So now this autonomy meanings today is genocide. This autonomy meaning is crime against humanity. This autonomy meaning is for the Uyghur is tortures, discrimination, and eradicated Uyghur identity. So World Uyghur Congress and raising this issue globally, doing advocacy and lobbying, and we achieve big success. 2020, World Uyghur Congress, we asking Jeffrey Nice, Sir Jeffrey Nice, who is a former chief prosecutor of the Milosevic, former Yugoslavia, in the International Criminal Court. And we approaching him, we asking him to establish an investigated Chinese crime against the Uyghurs allegation. And we submit a lot of document, and we have a lot of discussion, his and his team. Then finally, 2020 September, Sir Jeffrey Nice established Uyghur Tribunal, People's Tribunal, Independent Uyghur People's Tribunal. And this Uyghur Tribunal, within 18 months, collected 100,000-page document, more than 500 people's testimony. Then finally, 2021, 3 hearing was taking place in London. Where open public hearing is, they invited Chinese government as well. Of course, Chinese government didn't attend them because they couldn't attend them because just 3 times hearing this tribunal listening more than 80 witness testimony, some expert testimony, some witness testimony. Then 2021 December 9. Uyghur Tribunal make judgment. Chinese government against Uyghurs is this atrocity is genocide, crime against humanity, and the tortures. So after this judgment, then we will travel globally. We push on the government, asking the government, member state of the United Nations, and asking them, you should be stop this genocide because 1948 Convention on Genocide Convention, more than 150 countries signed this convention. It is mean all these countries signed this convention has legal obligation to stop ongoing genocide. Unfortunately, most of some country just close the eyes, blind the eyes, and just ignoring for this or not ignoring. Even some country openly support China, particularly majority global source, particularly Muslim country, unfortunately with China together supporting the genocidal policy. This is unacceptable, but our duty, our work, we have to continue advocate it, continue raise this issue. We can say we have seen a very positive response so far. So far, 10 national parliaments recognize Uyghur genocide motion. First parliament is Canada, then Netherlands, then Belgium, Lithuania, Czech Republic, UK, French, United States, Taiwan, Ireland. These all countries' parliament recognize Uyghur genocide, and U.S. Government also recognized. Previously government, current government, both recognize this Uyghur genocide. And the U.S. Adopted 2 bills. One is Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act, another was Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, and now is another 3 bills in the and will be voted soon in the U.S. Congress. So this is the positive response, of course, and also UN High Commissioner, previously High Commissioner Michelle Bachelet, she also published a report. Actually, this report was very late published. We are waiting published 2022 September. We know the finalized, but because of the Chinese pressure, because of the Chinese game, and she didn't publish. But last minute, just 10 minutes before she left her position, her office, she published this report. This report language very weak because didn't describe all atrocity, atrocity. But however, this report also very significant because it's the official report by the UN. This report saying risky crime against humanity, crime against taking place. So after that, the Chinese government really attacked to the UN, and also Chinese government didn't cooperate with the UN. And the last year, October, Uyghur resolution in the Human Rights Council was filed. 17 countries, as you know, is Human Rights Council have a 48 member states. Among them, 17 support this resolution, Uyghur resolution, and 19 countries support China. 11 countries abstain. It is 19 country, among them 19 country, out the 6 countries, Muslim countries support China, unfortunately. So, and also some global and Latin American country also abstain. So that's why last month I and my delegation, we visit Latin American country, Brazil, Chile, Argentina, and Costa Rica. This is member state of Human Rights Council, because there is no Uyghur community, there is no, because China has a huge capacity, use economic power, use diplomatic power, spread fake news, and trying to convince these countries to silence. So that's why we are traveling this country. We had a meeting, civil society, media, lawmaker, parliament member, foreign ministry official, and university. It was the first trip, but very successful. We had good friends, good network,
Yeah.
and a lot of and it was we have seen it change it. So we are doing this work. Of course, we have to do a lot of things to do, because genocide ongoing, not stop. China today use some global source diplomat or scholar, so-called scholar or Islamic scholar, brought to the East Turkestan, and use them as a propaganda tool. But we use our capacity. We're trying to continue convince and stop the ongoing genocide. Another issue is a forced labor issue. Today, China used the Uyghur as a forced labor. Today, globally, 25% is cotton, textile from Uyghur forced labor. And in China, 85%. So that's why still we continue pushing the company, stop business with China. But some company creating some excuse, continue make business with China, saying, oh, we don't have a link with the forced labor, we are very respectful of human rights. But it is not correct time business as usual. You should stop the business with China, because you are not in the position to investigate, because Chinese government didn't let you do the investigation here. So, and however, some company like H&M stop business with China, stop buying the cotton from China, but still is the German company like Bosch, Adidas, Nike. This all company have a direct link with the forced labor. But we now set up this big international coalition, more than 460 human rights organization, labor union, civil society set up one stop end of Uyghur forced labor coalition. This coalition is an amazing job. Continue and make pressure to the government, to the company, and also we are doing lobbying to adopt it, Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, like United States. This is our missions. Yeah, this is the reason, and as a parliament member, lawmakers, and they recognize the World Uyghur Congress work and they nominate us to the Nobel Peace Prize. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dolkun, for your words as well. Through the efforts that you have taken, I'm sure, and I hope and pray that you will be vindicated in your fight for the rights of Uyghur community. I'll be honest, when we spoke last year, I knew some bits and bobs here about the Uyghur community and the exploitation that they face. But through the efforts of your organization, I believe the same networking effect that it had on me, the same networking effect it would be had on the globe as well. And we would see actual tangible change. I have questions to ask you as well, but we will go to those questions after a brief introduction by Dr. Gwynnis as well. So, Dr. Gwynnis, you have the stage now. I would also like to know about you, your life. I have been appraised that your efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic in India and your relentless pursuit for human rights is also a story to be heard. So, the stage is yours, and I'm all yours. Thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, Dr. Gwynnis, you can go ahead and give a brief introduction about yourself and
Okay.
and your activities, and then we can move forward with questions for both Mr. Dolkun and you as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Abhijit ji and Mr. Dolkun ji and Miss Anushka Gupta ji. And I would like to say my good evening in Tamil. Malay Vanakkam, in Malayalam, Namaskaram, in Hindi, Namaste. Welcome everyone. Thank you very much. I am Dr. Gidnas Madasamy from Kerala. I am working as a postmaster in India Post and also working as an ambassador of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and an individual member of International Peace Bureau, headquarters in Berlin. This organization is working for a world without war. Okay. So I have been working as an individual member since 2010 and actively participating, involving in several human rights violations in my area. And I have won several awards nationally, internationally. You have seen in my biodata. Okay. Anyway, thank you for being here as a guest. Okay. I would like to share my views on geopolitics and its impact on human rights. As you are well aware, I know this is an important issue, and I am very glad we have such a passionate group and excited group of people like Mr. Abhijit and Mr. Dolkun Ji and Miss Anushka Gupta, working on it like India Research for Peace. I am very, very, very happy to be here. Thank you very much. And also, I'd like to give one suggestion. You can type your question in the chat box so that I will answer as many as possible. Okay. And geopolitics look at a particular use of power, how countries and other groups committed to control these entities within the international. Controlling these entities is seen to help countries and groups reach their goals. Geopolitics is always looked at with an international global dimension, meaning that the issues being looked at global scale. Thus, geopolitics can be defined as the struggle over the control of geopolitical graphical entities with an international and global dimension, and the use of such geographical entities for the political advantage. Where globalization, the economics has quickly become a world grounded in geopolitical risk. Accumulating shocks such as COVID-19, Corona pandemic, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict have persisted, significantly reorganizing global structure and relationship in 2023. And also, energy and climate change continue to be politically polarizing issues, with global progress notably lacking on the climate transition. However, the recent energy price shock in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine should catalyze decarbonization efforts, and the Inflation Reduction Act provides significant renewable incentives and investment opportunities in the US. The global response to COVID-19 is another polarizing topic with countless economic and social consequences. Among those consequences, a move toward rethinking globalization as a countries look to de-risk. And another, cyber attacks are becoming more frequent and severe and are increasingly being used as a tool of statecraft. The human and financial impact of attack continues to rise in line with the increasing digitization of critical infrastructure. The Russia-Ukraine conflict continues to pose a significant geopolitical risk in 2023. It has initiated a humanitarian crisis and given rise to greater risk exposures in capital flows, trade and commodity market worldwide. Geopolitical tensions have been high between NATO and Russia for some time, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine has NATO-Russia relations at their most precarious since the Cold War. These relations continue to be tested by the economic sanction imposed on Russia and the support by NATO membership countries for Ukraine in the form of financial and military aid. And recently, the Office of United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights verified a total of 99,177 civilian deaths during Russia's invasion of Ukraine as of June 30, 2023. Furthermore, 15,993 people were reported to have been injured. However, the Office of United Nations High Commissioner specifies that the real numbers would be higher. Nearly 50,000 Russian men have been died in the war of Ukraine, according to the first independent statistical analysis of Russia's war debt. So, and also as many as 354,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers have been killed or injured in the Ukraine war, which is grinding towards a protracted conflict that may last well beyond 2023, according to a trove of purported US intelligence documents posted online. So, I would like to use this opportunity to submit my appeal before President of Russia and President of US and also Ukraine. Sorry, one call. Okay. It is time to stop the killing and devastation. Ceasefire and peace negotiations now. It is my appeal, humble appeal. The war in Ukraine has taken tens of thousands of Ukrainian and Russian lives, uprooted millions, contaminated land, air and water, worsened the climate crisis. The longer the war goes on, the greater the danger of spiraling escalation, which can lead to a wider war, environmental devastation, and nuclear annihilation. The war diverts billions that would be addressing urgent human needs. Total military victory cannot be achieved by either Russia or Ukraine. It is time to support the calls by Pope Francis, United Nations Secretary General, President of Brazil, and Turkey, and China, and others for ceasefire and negotiated to end this war. Stop the killing, agree to ceasefire and begin negotiations. It is my humble appeal. And another issues like cyber attack. Cyber attacks are a growing geopolitical risk, becoming larger, more ingregate, and more relentless. They are a significant threat to individual organizations and national security. Particularly, the America is facing a widespread ransomware issue, and the US government is demanding stricter safeguards to help protect against such threat. The European Parliament website was made inaccessible for several hours in November 2022 with a pro-Kremlin group claiming responsibility for the cyber attack. And another issue is the digitalization. Critical national infrastructure means that many essential services, including power grids, water supply networks, and transportation systems, are increasingly vulnerable to cyber attacks. A successful cyber attack on any of these systems can have severe consequences, including loss of life and economic damage. And I would like to share another issue is a climate risk. Climate risk is one of the world's most politically polarizing topic and one of the biggest geopolitical risk of 2023. Climate risk will have far-reaching impacts on national security and global stability, and the effects of climate change are already apparent in the form of extreme weather events, species extinction, rising sea level, and growing poverty in the developing countries. Climate change has resulted in more frequent and severe weather events such as hurricanes, droughts, floods, and wildfires, which have damaged infrastructure and disrupted supply chains, leading to resource scarcity and economic instability. It has led to reduced precipitation level in some parts of the world, which in turn has led to water scarcity, that is, rising geopolitical tensions between countries such as Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. More frequent and severe droughts in sub-Saharan Africa have reduced the availability of water for agriculture and drinking. Water scarcity in South America is worsening operational disruption, protest and contract revision, risk for manufacturing company, and worsen the risk of lower crop yields and higher food prices. Droughts are likely to cause an ongoing constraint to Latin America contribution to meet global energy transition target. Brazil's agriculture sector, for example, experienced US $9 billion in losses in 2021 because of drought. Geopolitical plays a crucial role in facilitating global cooperation to address climate change, with 196 countries bound by the Paris Agreement on climate change adopted in 2015. If an insufficient collection action is taken to halt global warming, the effect would become catastrophic. Mass displacement, food and water insecurity, and civil unrest, to name but a few. And another issue is, COVID-19 pandemic. The social economic impact of the pandemic is still being felt. Mutation and or emergence of new viruses or diseases, the future of global health governance, and the effect on supply chains are just a few of the lingering risks that could cause further disruption in 2023 and beyond. COVID-19 has significantly affected global trade, with many countries closing their borders and restricting travel to control the spread of the virus. This uncertainty means the risk of future lockdowns and manufacturing disruptions remains. Supply chain which we are severely disturbed by COVID-19 have begun a gradual recovery as COVID-19 restrictions and globally are reduced. Supply chains are now facing surging demand for certain types of goods, worker shortage, and pre-existing political pressures. And another issue is climate change. Weather in the form of extreme weather events are rising. Sea levels is already disrupting trade routes and damaging the infrastructure. This geopolitical risk has the potential to significantly impact national security and global stability. Sustained energy security concerns spell bad news for the global economy and increase fiscal, social, and political challenge for government. A major surge in COVID-19 cases and a new mutation of the virus could also further weaken national and international supply chains further and disrupt manufacturing and export, fueling global shortage. Given that these geopolitical risks are interconnected with human rights, the strategies to tackle them should likewise be interconnected. Meaningful progress on the climate transition, for instance, requires international cooperation such as adherence to the Paris Agreement. The growing tension between major powers will hinder global efforts to combat climate change. In the international cooperation needed to effectively address geopolitical risks such as cyber attack, COVID-19, and will always be challenging to achieve owing to complex geopolitical relationship between many countries. But continual bilateral trade between clashing countries should that partnership are possible even when geopolitical tension are on the rise. I am arguably in the most economically disruptive period in decades, and collaboration is a key to navigating this disruption. With the geopolitics playing an increasingly important role in global business, it is critical now more than ever for companies to have geopolitical risk analysis firmly embedded in their strategy to governance. Anyhow, I would like to conclude my views on this important topic and give my heartfelt thankfulness to Ms. Anushka Gupta for giving this wonderful and great opportunity. We may work jointly to make a world without war, because peace is possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, good Dr. Guinness, for your words. I can safely say that when it comes to cyber attacks or when it comes to energy security or the current climate conditions that we're seeing throughout Europe or in Asia, you safely echo all of our words, Blue Media's IRPs, and I can safely say Mr. Dolkun as well. Also, with the current human rights violations that are happening in the Russia-Ukraine war as well that we see,
Yes.
I am very thankful for your words, and especially coming back to your speech and the appeal that you made. I hope that the president of Russia and the United States see this and take it as an example of mitigating the war casualties and coming to negotiations and finally ending a war that has taken over 2 years now.
Yes, yes.
I would like to actually open up the panel to a couple of questions. I have prepared a couple of questions some initial questions just to kickstart the conversation. Mr. Dolkun, actually, I would like to come to you first. As I mentioned before, once we spoke a long time ago, and that point also, I had a little bit idea of the Uyghur community and the exploitation that they face. But when you came in and you explained to me really well, I was inspired, I was moved, and I was also enlightened by the extent to which China can actually do these atrocities. If I don't want to name drop, but currently in the leading up to the US elections, there was a presidential candidate which, when asked about the Uyghur community in China, he went ahead and asked, who are the Uyghurs? So I think with your networking efforts, we are finally reaching a stage wherein more and more people are becoming aware, and people like the presidential candidate who asked, who are the Uyghurs, will lessen as the time goes by. The question that I actually wanted to ask you is that this also comes as a question from Dr. Sriparna Pathak. She's one of the assistant professors.
Abhijit, I would like to intervene here because Mr. Gwenis has already conveyed me that her daughter is a little unwell, so he will be going there. So please let's just stick to the script. So I'll actually request Sanya to please take over the panel and just ask the questions which were decided. So if we will have some time afterwards, you can continue with the questions. So Sanya, please go ahead.
Sir, please. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Please,
okay.
Dr. Gwenis, go ahead.
Because he is not well. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I will video it. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
No
Okay.
problem.
So
At that time,
Sanya, I request you to please continue.
I can move forward with Sanya's questions. I just have a couple of questions that have been asked by scholars, and I will give the floor to Sanya.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. So continuing our conversation, sorry for the interruption, Mr. Dolkun, but continuing with the conversation that we were having. One second, so there is no disturbance. Yes. So that's what I wanted to ask you actually. This question comes as a scholar question as well, which has been asked by Dr. Sriparna Pathak. She actually went ahead and told me that she's a big fan of you. So she wanted to ask you this question. I saw that currently, as I mentioned before, that with the World Uyghur Congress to celebrate the anniversary, I think you went to the Turkish Parliament to actually celebrate your 35th anniversary. I don't think you were there, but I saw a couple of pictures in which your colleagues from the World Uyghur Congress were there. But I also saw reports that probably a month afterwards, the Turkish parliament rejected a special committee to establish persecution against Uyghurs. So, in this scenario of especially growing China's economic clout and growing geopolitical clout, how do you see countries, especially Muslim countries, coming forward and supporting China and staying silent on the Uyghur issue when on the other platforms, such as, say, for example, OICs, which is Organization for Islamic Cooperation, they are very vocal in their rights against in their fight against the exploitation that is happening to Muslim communities worldwide, but they stay mum on China. Do you think that they are playing a double game here, and how do you see the fight going ahead?
Yeah, it is a good question. Yes, yeah, and if for the OSCE countries approaching to the Uyghur issue, mostly as I said before in my statement, and most OSCE country support Chinese government, and even they are completely with the Chinese side. But some of them OSCE country like Turkey, their position is sometimes very supportive, sometimes silence. Of course, because they are not very, they know very well, particularly Turkey, know the situation what happening for the Uyghur Muslim, in East Turkestan, and we have same language. We share same language, culture. We have a very close tie with Turkish people. That's why in Turkey, particularly, we have strong public support. But government position sometime up, sometime down, and yes. But last 2 years, and the Turkish government position is more developed, we can say, and the UN level, Turkey before 2022, Turkish government didn't even sign joint statement is United States Human Rights Council or Security Committee, but last year. Turkey also signed joint statement, and this it is good. It is good. Also, resolution, Uyghur resolution, genocide resolution, is Turkish parliament was rejected. Mostly is the ruling party and the partners ruling party rejected this because this genocide motion brought to the Turkish party. So in the Turkey is the political system a little bit strange, you know. If something bring to the opposition party is completely is rejected by the ruling party. If ruling party brings something, is opposition party completely rejected. But this is Uyghur issue is a bipartisan issue. Is United States or some other country. This is genocide. Just stop on genocide, ongoing genocide, crime against the humanity is the legal obligation and the moral obligation. All party, all human being. But unfortunately, we have witnessed sometimes the political party and all peoples just put in the use of the tool. It is own agenda. It is wrong. It is wrong. In Europe, the success in Europe also there is a different political party. United States, Canada, some other country. But for the genocide, this is the responsibility of all human beings, all political parties. Should be always a political issue. And the ideological issue, but some countries unfortunately cannot cross over this limitation. This is the reason in the Uyghur genocide motion is rejected in the Turkish parliament. But as we said recently, we have seen some positive response. Even last month, Palestine President Mahmoud Abbas, when he visit in China, he met with Xi Jinping. He's saying, and he support China. He support China's genocidal policy against Uyghur. Say China have a right, and we support China anti-terrorism and the program campaign. It is China never. This is not anti-terrorist in the campaign. It is a campaign eradicated one nation. It is a campaign genocidal policy of the Chinese government. So that's why after this his visit, then opposition leaders, not opposition, part of the government party, Devlet Bahçeli, he made strong. He broke in silence. He made a strong statement and condemning the Mahmoud Abbas statement. It is good step, of course. It's good step. And we have seen in the Malaysia sometimes also and speaking out. And Somalia, only Muslim country, last time Uyghur resolution is United Nations. Somalia always a country supports the Uyghur resolution. But Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Indonesia, major Pakistan, this all country all the time is support with China. This is the stand of the because China today start war against Islam. Chinese government very openly, CCP, Chinese Communist Party it is the anti-religious organization, not only targeting Islam. CCP is targeting Chinese Christian, Tibetan Buddhist, and also Falun Gong, all, but particularly against Islam, and burning Quran, collected Quran, and the burning, and all religious textbooks was burning. Uh, and also mosque, more than 8,000 mosques demolished, another 8,000 mosques destroyed. This is a report by the International Independent Research Institute.
Right.
But unfortunately, Muslim country and continues China. There is the two reasons, I think. One is economic reason, of course. This is most of the Muslim country very strong economic tie with China. They know, of course, because CNN reported this is all atrocity, how Chinese government against Islam, how is that targeting Islamic value. Chinese government saying Islam is ideological illness, disaster, it must be eradicated. This is the official slogan. This is not we are saying this is the CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, even some of the major international media reported already, independent scholar reported already. So this country know very well. All is the reason, economic reason. Another second reason, most of these countries have its own huge human rights problem, very bad human rights record. For example, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan all have a lot of problems because the discrimination its own citizen, So that's why they complicit each other, they partner each other, they support each other. This is the reason this country and this China, unfortunately, yeah.
Right. I will just ask one more question, the last one, and then I'll move forward to questions which have been prepared by Sani as well. Just kind of elaborating also on the economic stuff that you mentioned, of course, that is going to be one of the major determinants in countries not acting up. But on a micro scale, we have also seen that there are companies which use products which have been, produced and manufactured by forced labor camps in East Turkestan. But I read some reports. This might be like a silver lining in the or a light at the end of the tunnel. I saw that there is something called, now it is probably still in the works. I saw that there is something called as Altana AI. It is an artificial intelligence that has been manufactured in a way that it can detect what goods have been made by forced labor camps in East Turkestan, and it can kind of weed out these products from global supply chains and ensure that customers, you and I, can use products which are made by laborers which are being paid fair wages. What changes do you think we as consumers should make in this? Because this fight is big. Obviously, you are doing the fight, countries are doing the fight, but we on an individual level, we also should do something. So, as consumers, what do you think should be the one thing that we should do?
Yeah, this is the forced labor. It is the major issue, and for the Uyghur people, until 2009, Chinese government and puts more than 3 million Uyghur Kazakh and in the concentration camp, just subject indoctrinate, and subject indoctrinate, psychological, physical torture, and denounce national and religious identity. And up to 2019, up to 3 years, 4 years, indoctrinate, and they are really the people in the concentration camp shows the loyalty Chinese Communist Party and Xi Jinping. Then since 2019, Chinese government is set up a factory inside the concentration camp or near concentration camp, some other. Then these Uyghurs and was used as forced labor. So I already saying is a particularly textile industry, 25% globally from the Uyghur forced labor. And this is the all statistic from the international and the independent experts report from the Chinese resource. And the solar panel. This is solar panel. This is also 47% from the Uyghur forced labor. And now is 640 international brand has direct link with Uyghur forced labor. This is World Jewish Watch. They are last year October they issue and one database. They are investigate and have the huge data. If you put the World Jewish Watch database, put any company name, then show you this company very easily to identify it. This company have a direct link with the Uyghur forced labor or not. It's very clearly they are right everything. So at least 640 international brands have a link for forced labor.
Wow.
But some company still denied, oh, we respect human rights. We don't have a link with the forced labor. We respect human rights. We respect international law. All company don't have a forced labor link with. But it is a liar, because if this company not linked with the forced labor, the Chinese government didn't allow any independent investigation in the group to investigate this region. It's impossible. So that's why we're asking. And any protection from East Turkestan, from Xinjiang, this is the direct link with forced labor. So that's why U.S. Congress adopted Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. It is effective very well. Now it's the U.S. only the countries to stop product from Uyghur region, from East Turkestan. But company use different of way, not directly to export to the United States. So first brings the toys product to some other country, Mexico, maybe Canada. Then use this border and use it. So in this situation, and the consumer, of course, and the company is hunger for the money. This is the whole respect human rights. We respect international order. This is just a slogan, but unfortunately, the company just doesn't care the people's life. Company just make money. Right. This is the priority of the money. They never is thinking of the moral obligation. For example, Volkswagen, German company, they have a very bad record from the Holocaust. Right. 75 years ago, they are complicity with the Nazi regime, corporate, but today Volkswagen corporate CCP, Chinese government, they're doing repeatedly same mistake, same crime. Not mistake, it is a crime. So that's why is the consumers, the people can boycott this product. It is an effective way, Of course, one side, consumer should be and the protest and the boycott, write letter to the company, make and the grassroots movement and make pressure to that. And they use the social media because some brand really worried, disregard, and they worried for it destroys the image. They are really, and the image is very important. Some company, so that's why, and the civilian and the normal customers and the people should be use social media and make pressure to this company. This is effective. Secondly, consumer don't buy this product. Right. Don't drive is a Volkswagen. Don't buy any clothes. And if you buy any T-shirt, something like, look at if made in China, definitely linked with forced labor. Right. Made in China. Yeah. So this is also even in the tomatoes. Tomato is in the McDonald's is a ketchup. Right. Ketchup is the most of the ketchup from the Uyghur forced labor, from the Turkestan. So if you go to the McDonald's and you don't eat McDonald's, at least you don't use the ketchup. This is the simple. Every people can do it. Every people can use this way and also effective way. Stop this, then every human being can do something. Daily life, even the mask during the pandemic time, COVID time. Right. Is this COVID spread from China? But later, China is export is a huge mask, and also and the medical and this is testing tool. This is from China. Right. China. This is all from forced labor mask. But everyone globally uses Chinese mask. Actually, this mask can be produced. It's not very complicated things to produce a mask, and every country, every people can do it. If really you really want to stop the ongoing genocide, if you really don't pay the complicity of this genocide, then you cannot use the Chinese mask. But unfortunately, China and the one side spreads the COVID, other side immediately, oh, we are contributing to the mask, and everyone, and this is the simple things, but very important, sensitive issue. So everyone can do daily life. What do you eat? What do you dress? What do you drive? If you people little bit sensitive, little bit take care, then it is because China today is second big economy. China use its economic power, trying to use this economy to use the persecuted its own citizen. And even Chinese people is also suffering a lot. Today's Hong Kong democracy is destroyed. Uyghurs are suffering, Tibetans are suffering, and because in the 20, 30 years ago, China cannot ignore it for the international pressure. But now China is ignored because China understand I'm strong enough. Strong enough because why? Strong economically strong enough. They use this economy, then targeting and not only targeting to the Uyghur Tibetans people. China uses economic power to the expansion policy, territorial expansion policy. Today, China have a territorial problem. Is the all neighboring country. Today, China have a territorial problem. India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, even Russia and Japan, Indonesia, Philippines, entire neighboring. China have territorial problem because China saying China has an invasion. Ambition. I'm strong enough. Use it enough. And they also Belt and Road, One Belt One Road project. Use this project trying to control entire world. So that's why if we boycott Chinese product, we don't complicity with China, then economic slowdown, then China can stop this expansion policy. China today is the model of some authoritarian regime.
Right.
Some authoritarian regime is Chinese surveillance technology. Use the Chinese strategy, and the Chinese something like model of some authoritarian regime. Right. So that's why every human being can do something. Every human being have a moral obligation and stop ongoing genocide. It is benefit not only stop ongoing genocide. It is benefit entire world. It is benefit all human beings.
That's true. Actually, the quote here which says be the change you want to see in this world very much rings true in this instance. We with the database that you mentioned, and also with probably the AI technologies coming up, we are able to get rid of products that are made by forced labor camps in Xinjiang, or I should say East Turkestan. With respect to also the way in which the blood diamonds were kind of weeded out of the global supply chain by something called as the Kimberley process, I believe and I hope that some global consolidation also happens with regards to products from forced camps from Uyghurs as well. But this would be it from my side. There have been a couple of questions that have been prepared by Sania as well and by IRP. So Sania, if you would like to unmute yourself and ask your questions, you are ready to do so. I would just like to say in the end, Mr. Dolkun, thank you so much for talking to me as well. By your words, I'm always captivated, maybe 1 year ago or now, or maybe 10 years ago into the future. So I will always look forward to your speeches, and hopefully you will get an Indian visa soon so that I can come see you in person. But I will now give the floor to Sania and we can take it ahead from there.
Well, thank you everyone, and thank you Mr. Isa and to Dennis for this engaging and insightful webinar. So we had some questions for you. So, sir, my first question is, since we have many international laws right now relating to human rights, how effective think they when it comes to the of human rights?
Sorry, I couldn't hear this question clearly. Maybe If someone can you repeat it, this?
Actually, Sanya is having some issues with her internet currently. So
Yes.
let me just repeat the question to you, sir. So her question is that how effective our international rules, regulations, and bodies are, because increasingly from the past 3 decades, everyone is getting concerned with the human rights violation, and the international community has started questioning the states as well regarding their gross violation of human rights. So, how effective are these international bodies and laws are in dealing with HRV?
Well, yes, if the situation of the Uyghurs show how limited international law, international law is dealing with the human rights abuses, particularly like China and Russia, and the misuse the international system, international system. For example, China, Russia, Pakistan, and the country, time to time misuse Interpol, for example. Interpol. I'm the personal victim of this in this Interpol. I have 21 years red notes by the Interpol, and that's why I was detained so many country borders. This is the reason why I couldn't enter to India today. Even some democratic country also believe, and China, some of the authoritarian countries' accusation, and some international system also part of this human rights violation. But I have never stopped my right. Finally, 2018, my red notice was delayed, but still I cannot travel out of country. That's why we have seen some international institution is occupied or strong, in fact, by the authoritarian country like China, Russia. Is UN Human Rights Council is largest and the only legitimated body for the human rights system. UN Human Rights Council. Human Rights Council is the main mission is improve globally in the human right, But unfortunately, we have seen so many and injustice. What's happening is that so many countries. China is a member of Human Rights Council, and Iran is a member of Human Rights Council. Cuba sometimes, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. These all authoritarian countries member of Human Rights Council. This is make decision makers for this. So this is the big stain. This is the unfortunate situation, disappointment. But however, there is no another system, There is no another good institution. We have to continue in the working system, We have to continue. So civil society has a strong impact time to time, Continue to raise this issue. Chinese government used its power until 2018, hiding all ongoing genocide is a situation. Until 2018, August, China denied everything. No, we don't have any problem. We don't have such a detention center. We don't have a concentration camp. Nothing. Just nothing. Ignored every pressure. But 2018, August, third committee, UN committee, eliminated racial discrimination committee, review Chinese report because China already ratification in the international convention. So review Chinese report. This review is publicly, openly review and in front of the international media. And UN committee, UN expert mentioned and examined China, and the same is around 1 million Uyghurs and in the detention center. Then it is the big international issue. Then China continue hiding the reality, and change the narrative. Oh, yes, we have, but it is not concentration camp, detention center, is vocational training centers, So if UN third committee did not report this, maybe China should be continued denied all this. But after that, China could not deny this. Then since then, and UPR on China, 28 November, first time 14 country and raised this concentration camp issue. Now is a China defending position. Then it used some country diplomat, particularly Muslim country, global source, and organize a propaganda tour. Then defending position and use a lot of money spreading fake news, disinformation campaign. No, so and then we have, of course, this international system not well known, working and the corporate sometimes China, but however, and also if we continually doing advocacy, we continually working on this. Of course, there is some possibility can in the country like China, some other country is a country which hold human rights violation, can hold accountability, and also some international system for the ICC and ICJ. But this system also doesn't work very well because China, for example, not member in the International Criminal Court, and the ICJ the International Court of Justice should approve by this UN Security Council. China is a permanent member of Security Council. China has very vital right. Then this system also not very really effective to stop such an atrocity. But however, all responsibility, user capacity, we have to work together. So far, we have seen some positive response. As I said, high commissioners published a report. It is a good step, of course. And also 50 countries make jointly statement condemning China. This is a good step. Of course, not good enough, but at least good step. If not cooperate with the international system, maybe China can do. Not only China, all authoritarian countries. If not such an international system, maybe they can do more atrocity crime. Yeah.
I agree with you, sir, when you said there's no better option. We have to live in this international community.
Yes. So, my question would be, what can be the difference? Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
So, on my question is, what is the different way in a related state and non-state actor in violate the human rights?
Okay, so Sanya.
There's some audio problems.
Maybe she will be right for type question is better. Because I couldn't say anything.
It's okay. I just say her because I know her questions. So the question she wanted to ask was, what can be the different ways in which other states and non-state actors can help improve the condition of the Uyghur community? Because Uyghur is a very large community that shares historical and cultural ties with many Central Asians and Turkey countries. So how can they have an impact on their conditions? How can they improve their community living in China?
Yeah, so as you are right, we have very cultural, linguistic, historical tie in the Central Asia country, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and we have very strong historical tie. In the past, in the Russian Empire time, when these people and targeted, and when this country, Central Asia, occupied and by Russian Empire, that time quite a lot of immigrants to move to this Turkestan, then we will be a hosting for them. And the Manchu Empire, when occupied Turkestan, sometimes is a mass killing was happening. That time also some Uyghur and they left West Turkestan and came to the Central Asia or relatives, they are hostile to us. Yeah, and besides this, we have also share same language. Today we can speak in each other, we can communicate each other without any interpreter. This is but unfortunately, this country all very dependent of the Chinese money, military, economic, all side. You know, and in 1990, 1991, this country is independent, declared independent by the former Soviet Union. From 1990 to 1995, 1996, within 5-6 years, there is a lot of we got a lot of support, and there is also, because this Central Asia, around 1.5 million Uyghur community living this way, most of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, more than 1.5 million Uyghur living there. So this Uyghurs and established the Uyghur organization and they're doing advocacy work. That time there was some opportunity to do doing political activism there, but China realizes trying to stop all activism in Central Asia. 1996 with Russia, China established mostly the initiative, this Shanghai Cooperation Organization. They established Shanghai. Shanghai Cooperation Organization main object to targeting Uyghur movement. Russians targeting is a Chechnya movement. So then rest of some Central Asia government and joining this. After that, there is no space to doing political activism. Today, Uyghur community cannot do any demonstration or cannot do any conference political activism, but they can do only cultural activism, linguistic or cultural, something like. Even Chinese government trying to push this government, Central Asia government, even stop cultural activism as well. You know? Yeah, so now this all government is also authoritarian leaders. All there's a of course you cannot compare with China. This country and definite themselves. So-called is a democratic country. This whole constitution is a democratic constitution. But unfortunately, all leaders and is from the former Soviet time. So that's why this country is. But recently is frame of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and besides this, very economic depend on China. So that's why these countries at the moment, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, cooperate with China. Last year, October, was Uyghur resolution was filed, and the Kazakhstan and the Uzbekistan and with the China side. In the opposite, in the support China, is the two countries is one of the 19 countries support China. Is an unfortunate situation, because today in the Turkestan concentration camp, not only Uyghur are suffering, even Kazakh, and the unofficial number saying is at least 200,000 Kazakh are suffering concentration camp. Is Kazakh, some Kazakh activists work with us together. Some Kazakh camp survivor is talking and make testimony, and also and the thousand Kyrgyz, Uzbek camp survivors. Also on the Uyghur, Kazakh, Kyrgyz, Uzbek, and the Kazakhs also in the today suffering concentration camp. This country should be thinking on this, you know. Okay, they are not thinking doesn't care the Uyghur issue, but at least they should take care of the Kazakh, Uzbek, Kyrgyz. But unfortunately, they are not on the position conferred against against the Chinese government because economically very tight. And also, China is economically is a threat. This country economically threat. This country's national sovereignty under threat by the Chinese government. So that's why, unfortunately, this country never support us. We are trying to warn them. Okay, today we are facing to such an atrocity crime, but if you continue with China, up to 20 years later, you will be same position. You will be same. So we will talk. We will use all experience warning them. Unfortunately, it is a government leaders. It is this country very corrupted country, Just get money from China, get loan from China. Very small portion of this loan used the infrastructure as a benefit for the population, but most of them this loan and it's, the government official and just put their own pocket and few of the people benefit for this, but most of them is people, citizen is suffering. This is the situation, but we should not lose hope. Dictator, authoritarian regime is not forever. Today, even is inside the Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan also opposition, a young generation wake up and they realize how dangerous Chinese intervention in this country. And they hold sometime last year, their huge national demonstration was taking place, and this was cracked on. But of course, this year you cracked on this the demonstration. But how long you can crack on? So that's why we never lost hope. We have to cooperate with civil society. Now we have witnessed some civil society in this country, Central Asia, is increasing. There is some civil society doing an amazing job to protect the human rights in this country, and they are rise and voice and the democratic reform. I hope one day is coming. They are realizing China's expansion is a whole dangerous national sovereignty in this country.
I agree, sir. Plus, China has developed various mechanisms through which it can pressurize civil society through surveillance, through putting them in the concentration camps. So, China has developed various tools to pressurize the community and to build fear and to instill fear in the community. So, I want to know that most of the state rely on their law and order mechanism. Like whenever any protest or dispute in a region happens, China always enforces its law enforcement agencies, I can say, and they always term that dispute or protest as a law and order disturbance or a law and order problem. So is this a way to gain international legitimacy for their act, or what is it?
Yeah, the Chinese government, this I already told, is China today have a territorial problems all neighboring country. So China, no, it is not only threatened for the Uyghur, Tibetan, and today China is a threat for the international order and the global peace. There is no legitimacy, but China, time to time, and adopted some law. But in China, we put the international law aside. If we are talking about Chinese national law or Chinese constitution, all the Chinese constitution on the paper, well, there is a lot of rights, civil right, political right, economic right of the people. And we have, for the Uyghur, it is autonomic region, we have autonomic law. Tibetan have a Tibet autonomic law. But this is on the paper, never implemented. It is China, it's the Chinese CCP, Chinese Communist Party bylaw or Chinese Communist Party directive is much powerful than Chinese constitution or any law, And the Chinese government targeting to Uyghur Tibetans since many years. And the hard strike campaign and the mass arrested, killing, and blame Uyghurs as a terrorist, blame the Tibetan activists as a separatist. This is a long time campaign against this Tibetan Uyghur. But 2015, December, China National Congress adopted counter-terrorism law. It is mean China already did against the Uyghurs. This law already implemented since the beginning, but approved by the National Congress. It is mean legitimated for this crackdown, legitimated, So we warn them to the world. Look, it is very dangerous. China trying to make legitimate it. It is cracked down to the Uyghurs and the Tibetan, but mostly world is silence, And then later, last year, China adopted national security law. It is mean targeting Hong Kong democracy. China used this law. Actually, China already started targeting Hong Kong democracy. 2015, 2016 umbrella movement demonstrations. He already did, and China realized, oh, okay, we have to adopt some rule, the law, and we use we do this crackdown framework of the law. Then last year, October, China adopted national law. No, is that a lot of Hong Kong activists is arrested and sentenced several years. So, and according to the international law, China's government adopted and signed some international convention, third convention, and the convention in tortures, for example, convention. Chinese government is adopted the children's right committee convention, several conventions, but this is sign ratification, but continue violate international law. For example, the UN special rapporteur of the minority issue this year he published a report. 1 million Tibetan children separate from families boarding school. Look, yes, this is against the International Convention of the Child Right, but China do it, and and China already ratification discrimination eliminated this also racial discrimination, but China very openly discriminate and eradicate this Uyghur identity. 3 million people today suffering concentration camp. Even China ratified and signed international law and the slavery work, But today China used the Uyghurs on the forced labor. So this is the China and the only misuse international system. And if sometimes just ignore it, international pressure, or sometimes adopt this so-called law, but China is not country rule of law, and the Xi Jinping is the king, CCP is the powerful, violent organization. Actually, CCP, Chinese Communist Party, biggest terrorist organization. Yes, and the CCP today kill Uyghur Tibet, but Mao Zedong, Chinese Communist Party, killed more than 50 million Chinese people during the Cultural Revolution time. So this kind of organization never respect law, only use international law, or it is the so-called national law. Use the tool against its own citizen or Tibetan or Uyghurs.
Clearly, China has always developed a tendency of using terrorism as a word to use it anywhere, at any platform, to gain itself the image that we are being the victim in this atmosphere. Because of all the protest happening, they just term the protest as a terrorist activity. The rats with SCO is also a clear example of that, of their attempt. So we are just moving towards the end, and we just have 2-3 more questions with you, sir, because unfortunately Mr. Gwennis cannot join us. He had to rush to the hospital because her daughter is not really well. So the question that I have is, we all agree that women and children has been the major sufferer of any human rights violation or any conflict and war. I would like to know how human rights violation impact men as well, both physically, mentally, socially. What are the impact in society? We have talked enough of the geopolitics. Let's deep dive into the sociological and society. How are men also affected in this human rights violation?
I could not got this clearly for the question. Can you repeat repeat again? Is that I couldn't catch the question.
Okay.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask how men get affected in terms of sociology, how men gets affected in a society. For example, how Uyghur community is seen by other peoples of China.
Yes. So yeah, but in the Chinese government, not only use it is military power, security power, and the crackdown to the Uyghur, also creating external and internal enemy to the Chinese people. So that's why we could not get them any support for the Chinese civilian. Only very few of the Chinese intellectual Chinese people and sympathize to the Uyghurs. But most of some Chinese people thought Uyghur is a terrorist because China and the CCP is master of the brainwashing, indoctrinate, not only indoctrinate the Uyghur Tibetan, indoctrinate its own Chinese people because censor is internet censors and you cannot, and the people in China cannot get information from free world and a lot of internet censors. So that's why China, all Chinese media, because there is not free media, all media is the propaganda tool and working as a propaganda machine for the Chinese Communist Party. If you repeatedly every day one liar, if you repeatedly one liar 1,000 times, then this will be true. People trust it, So most of some Chinese people, unfortunately, trust CCP saying, So that's why the Chinese people, thinking is Uyghur a terrorist, And that's why we have faced and the daily discrimination by not only government, by the Chinese people.
Right.
I was 1990s. I was staying 4 years in Beijing. This discrimination policy was exists that time too. If any Uyghurs went to the hotel, no, you cannot stay in the hotel. You because of face not like Chinese. We went to the hotel. Oh, okay, you're welcome. Because at the beginning of the reception, we thought foreigner. But after we give ID, Xinjiang, are you from Xinjiang? Then immediately change attitude, Oh no place, no free room. Yes. If you take the taxi, stop taxi drivers refuse to take us. So any Uyghurs, even some Uyghur official, government officials also, for the business trip to the Shanghai, China, Guangdong, some of the part of the China, it is very difficult to get at the hotel, Only big city, Shanghai, Beijing, Guangdong, there is a Xinjiang Benshuchu, it is meaning Xinjiang representative office. You can stay only there, but you cannot go some other hotel. It was happening in 1994 because China government and they have a security directive to the hotel. You don't accept any people from Xinjiang. But no, very openly. So this is most of some Chinese people also thought Uyghur is a criminal, Tibet is a criminal, Uyghur is a terrorist. China creating is a hatred. Chinese government is and also external enemy. Japan is the external enemy. It's the United States, Western country is enemy. China's national sovereignty under threatened. China used this tool, one side creating internal enemy and external enemy, then use this way and push to the people, we have to unite it together. You have to support CCP. Other ways, China's national sovereignty under threatened. The people trust it. That's why, and in the social in the social life also, and the Uyghurs and the Tibetan is discriminated by the people, even in Turkestan. Even as Turkestan is the complete country, even in the Han China, a lot of discrimination. And Uyghur, not only government, is the people, Chinese people also, you know. If the one Uyghur, one Chinese have some problem, if you go to the police office, whatever, whenever, even the Chinese people is wrong, he's right, she's right, Uyghur is wrong. You know, there is no way to seek your right and by the law or justice and the daily. So that's why Uyghurs anytime very avoided to contact get the problem with Chinese people. You never be justifies your right. So this is direct, in fact, and for the Uyghur social life, then it is creating hatred, you know. One side Chinese government every day use the national harmony, just national united is a means of change, you know, doing the propaganda every day, but other side and China creating and hatred to people. Then it is the direct impact and the psychological impact to the Uyghur harm. We are never and equality and with Chinese people or the Uyghur people. We are all the time seeking the spirit of citizen. This country is the country for the Chinese people. You know, I know Chinese people also suffering too. They are also is a victim of the Chinese CCP. But for us, double persecution. For the Chinese people, is one persecution. For us, a double persecution. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Dolkun, you highlighted the point that we were not even aware of. The intensity and the success of China's propaganda internally, we had no idea. International community continuously talks about how much propaganda or campaign China is exercising in their international community or in their or during their external exchanges, but they have so much success in dividing the Chinese people through campaign and propaganda is massive and really problematic. So the last question will be, what do you think the future will be of the Uyghur community if the surveillance through technology gets increased? Because there are reports in the international community that China has massive infrastructure of surveillance on the Uyghur community. So what do you think will be the impact of this?
Yes, this surveillance and the technology Chinese government testing for the Uyghur. Actually, Chinese government use Turkestan is the testing grant, you know, test grant. Testing Chinese government 1964 until 1996, more than 46 times nuclear testing this region. Testing. Because of this, million people is died because of the radioactive. Just 150 kilometer or 200 kilometer far from this nuclear testing area, people's habitable area. And the Chinese government since 2016-17 take DNA test in blood sample, more than 11 million people's blood sample of Uyghur. China official analysis, you know, use it. And also surveillance technology, facial recognition and the voice recognition technology testing for the Uyghurs. Now, China surveillance Uyghurs two way. One, use advantage of the technology and the surveillance technology. Other side, in the older fashion, in-person surveillance to the Uyghurs monitor. 2016, Qin Cheng-go, former party secretary of Tibet, appointed party secretary in Turkestan. He used his experiment in the Tibetan. After arriving in Turkestan, immediately he set up checkpoint everywhere. Example, in Ürümqi, capital of Turkestan, within 4 months, in only one city, 960 checkpoint was set up. It is mean every 200-300 meter one checkpoint. Street, shopping centers, any area, and also every region, every habitable area. It is not good enough, of course. And 2018, 2019, CCP sent 1 million Chinese Communist Party cadres, is a Communist Party member, to send the Uyghur family, staying with them. Along the 1 week or months, this Chinese Communist Party, Chinese man, staying with your family 24 hours, eating together, sleeping together, monitoring you 24 hours. What do you thinking, emotional? What do you speaking? What do you eat? What is your personal life? Everything, reported everything, Yeah.
Wow.
And so many rape cases was happening because most of the men in the concentration camp, woman and the girl is at home, but Chinese man staying. You cannot refuse. And the sexual abuse, and you cannot say no. If you depend yourself, how you are terrorist, you are against the Chinese Communist Party. Any Chinese man want to flirt or want to marry an Uyghur girl, you cannot reject it.
Wow.
If you reject, you are nationalist, you are religious fundamentalist, you are terrorist. Yeah. This was happening. This is official report with Chinese government. So China used technology, digital technology, and also iJob, one of the app, produced one app, and forcefully to download this app. If anyone don't download this app, then the people will be punished. It is mean control for you anytime. 2020, one of the Hong Kong newspapers reported in Hotan area, one day more than 170 people were arrested. Reason? These people closed and signed out the telephone within 2-3 hours. People, Chinese Communist Party suspect why you closed your phone 2-3 hours. What did you do within 2-3 hours? Because maybe out of the battery, empty maybe, you have to charge, or you don't open. Because of this reason, this is the example, 170 people arrested. Because closed telephone, or not, and open in the phone 2-3 hours. China, firstly, on the street, if you go, not only check your ID, check your telephone. Anytime, just push the computer. If you find any word related religious, for example, Salam Alaikum. Is Salam Alaikum universal greeting, Muslim? It doesn't matter you are really practice Muslim or not. It doesn't matter. Just Salam Alaikum. Mashallah, Inshallah. This is just a word. Everybody use it. If the police find any kind such a word in your phone, then it's a problem. But you're not nationalist. So check your phone anytime. And you cannot even you will not right. You don't have a right to explain. So no, immediately. So China and they use the advanced technologies, surveillance, and in front of every apartment is a camera. Anyone visit your family or relative visit your family, and just if more than 15-20 minutes later you're not coming out, then security guy is coming. Why are you staying too long? Hi guy, this is my brother. This is my friend. No, no, no. You don't have a right explanation. You know, because monitoring every people and every in front of the every and the entrance of the apartment camera, yeah, you have to sign. You have to sign, and before enters, besides several camera. So Chinese government use technology, digital technology, surveillance Uyghurs, and also use and but after the growing up international pressure and before the High Commissioner, former High Commissioner Bachelt visited Turkestan, Chinese government changed some strategy. Intention was not change and change strategy. All checkpoint was disclosed, removed. Checkpoint is in the city. No is no checkpoint. Just remove because no need because everybody already monitoring surveillance by the digitally. Digitally, no need. But only checkpoint between to city. Yeah.
We had no idea how much Uyghur community has been suffering. Like technology can be a bane at any moment depending on the usage of it. I really hope that we, together with the international community, can reach to a point where we can liberate the Uyghur community from the despotic rule of China. And we now come to the end of this webinar. I'm really glad for Mr. Dolkun for joining us and giving us the answers in this detail and with this much honesty and openness. It means a lot to us because we have got a way deeper understanding of China and Uyghur that we can never have. So before we go, I would like to tell that this webinar is being going live on YouTube, and in a few days, India Research for Peace will be publishing a report of the webinar on its website. So if anyone wants to know further about the webinar, they can check. And we really appreciate your time, sir. Unfortunately, Mr. Gwynnis cannot make the whole time, but we really appreciate you did. So it was a great experience. Thank you for having us, and we're looking forward to have more talks and conferences like this where we can really know what is happening inside China, because China has remained such a closed community in itself that media, internet communication, telecom has stayed under the control of the CCP. So to an outsider, it's very difficult to know the real situation that's happening. We just know what they are saying. We can never know what you are saying in actuality. So it was a great event. Looking forward. Thank you so much for your time.
I thank you very much for having me, and thank you. We keep in touch.
Thank you, Mr. Dolkun. I would also like to take a moment to thank you for your time as well. I know we've spoken before, but if you go up and end up winning the Nobel Peace Prize, I will be booking tickets to Germany and expecting a party from your side as well. And I speak on behalf of everyone here that I hope that Dr. Gwynnis's daughter is also keeping well. I hope that she recovers soon. We are really upset that he couldn't make it, but on the short span that he was there, he did enlighten us with his speeches too. So, Mr. Dolkun, this is sadly where we bid adieu. If there was more time, I would probably listen to you for a lot of time more. But I'm pretty sure you're also a busy man. So, thank you so much for your precious time. And as always, we'll keep in touch. On Loop Media socials, we will be putting out clipped reels and we'll be putting out videos of this recording as well, since this is being recorded. And Mr. Dolkun, I wish you nothing but the best, and I wish you nothing but health, happiness, and success in your life. Thank you so much.
I thank you very much. Take care.
Oh my fucking god, man. अरे ते तर काहीच नाही. That's only the tip of the iceberg.